Hello, everybody. My name is Jared Tate, the founder of the DIGIBYTE blockchain. And today I am coming to you as the founder and CEO of blockindex.ai. I am excited to share blockindex.ai with you today. It's something that I have been working on for 2.5 years, and I first thought up and started planning when I was writing my book in 2018. So what is blockindex.ai? I'm going to try and keep this video as short and sweet as I can, but I want to give you as many juicy details as I can. Blockindex is basically three things. It's the world's first decentralized rankings index, which I've actually filed for a patent for. It's an educational platform, and it has AI tools to give you advanced crypto intelligence. And over time, I plan on adding more tools, more AI, and more resources for everybody who uses this app. So the idea is it's a merger of blockchain technology and AI to provide advanced crypto intelligence. So I want to talk a little bit about why this platform came into existence and why it matters. Why do we need a decentralized rankings index? Well, the story starts all the way back in 2012 when I first discovered Bitcoin. That's almost 14 years ago now, and I can't believe how much the industry has changed in those 14 years. And the industry, in my opinion, has not changed for the better. Now, when you go to the history page on blockindex.ai, and by the way, anybody can come to this platform. It's free to sign up. Now, there are advanced tools that you got to pay for, which I'll get into in a minute. But for the basic features to be able to check stuff out, most of the information on this site is free. And I actually will be working to change some things and open more of it up because I want this data and these insights and this different perspective to get out there because it needs to. So if you look at this chart, you can see here all the way back in 2009, we had Bitcoin. And as we go to the right, we move to 2026 and there's more and more projects. Now, if you look at these little scores, this is what we call a D score. And so the idea with Block Index is what if we applied a mathematical formula to every crypto project that was equally applied to everything to measure how decentralized it was? Well, we wanted to keep the scoring system simple, so we came up with what we call D score, or the decentralization score, and we have the D100 and the D index. What are the top 100 most decentralized crypto projects? That's the goal. So 100 is the most decentralized, 0 is the most centralized. Now in the D score, there's 5 different metrics. There's how many full nodes are on the network. What was the initial coin distribution? How pre-mined was it? What kind of governance and organization does the blockchain have? What kind of age in history? You know, older projects that are still around tend to be way more decentralized, and we have the data to prove it. And then how autonomous is it? Is it an independent blockchain, or is it just a token on a centralized chain? So it's like a, Ponzi on top of a Ponzi, right? So you can come and look at the D score. Everything's transparent. The formula is published, and it's equally applied to every single crypto. And I got to be honest, yes, DIGIBYTE shows up as number 3. And I actually wanted to know if DIGIBYTE really was one of the most decentralized projects in existence. And it actually is. Amazing, right? So the mathematical formula that's applied to DIGIBYTE is the same thing that is applied to every other crypto that's on this platform. And what I've learned, I've had this data fully running for about a year now. I think it was last July when I got the first roundup. What I've learned is that if you go to the other rankings websites, okay, that just rank purely on market cap, what you end up with is roughly every 6 months, over half of the top 500 projects come and go. A ton of them go to 0. My initial plan with Block Index was I was going to have 10,000 cryptos, right? Well, the problem is after you get about 400 or 500, most of them fall off and go to 0. So when you go to the other indexes that are tracking, 17 million, like 90% of them have gone to 0. So I actually was like, you know what? I'm going to keep 500 in there. I'm going to have a decentralized 100 and a market cap 100. But here's the real reason that this platform exists. most people that are new to crypto, they come in here, or I mean, they go to CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. Those are the two most trafficked websites. And they come in and they're like, hey, I'm just going to buy the top 30 projects because they must be the best. Well, if you look at the top 30 projects, there's only a handful that are legitimately, truly decentralized. A lot of them score very, very poorly on the decentralization metrics. Most of them are completely centralized. Most of them are heavily pre-mined or pre-issued, and they're nowhere near decentralized. Now, I'm not saying that this platform is here to, police the industry. That's not it. I believe decentralization is a spectrum. And in fact, we have a page that you can see this. There are going to be use cases for crypto like tokenized stocks, okay, where you take a public company that's on the S&P 500 that gets tokenized, okay? And by the way, these tokenization metrics are actually now being tracked on other crypto indexes and are pushing a lot of decentralized crypto projects out of the top 200 or 300, like DIGIBYTE, for example. When you're talking about tokenized SpaceX shares having a higher market cap than some of the actual independent blockchains, to me, that just doesn't make sense to compare. That's why we need a decentralization rankings index, right? But there are going to be use cases where you're going to have centrally issued crypto like USDC, USDT that have a use case, okay? People use them every day. I'm not saying being more centralized is bad. But in my mind, if people are really wanting to change the system, we need to move the industry back to decentralization. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of truly decentralized projects. And I've got the data to measure it here, okay? The further you go to the right, the more centralized, the more crypto projects you get. And this brings up to the next issue, okay? If you look at these decentralization rankings indexes, look at how much difference there is in market cap. So there's a lot of tools, there's a lot of features, and I'm not going to have time to get into all that. But the idea is simple. If we can help educate people, which is why we have an entire course functionality where you can go learn about different topics about crypto and AI. Remember, this is the merger of bringing AI to blockchain with education and data and insights. Now, a lot of these courses haven't been finished. It takes a lot of time. That costs money. That costs energy. That's why we're publicly releasing Block Index today, because we want to gauge what kind of interest there is in such a platform. Now, there's a lot of other things you can do on here. When you log in the morning, you can see news. It's actually aggregated from tons of different crypto news websites. You can see mainstream news from different websites. AI news, etc. We're going to be doing more videos. We're going to be doing podcasts. We're going to be talking about the industry at large and how things have changed and become more centralized, and how do we get crypto back to its, original purpose. And like I said, the idea isn't to, police bad projects or anything like that. The idea is to give an unbiased mathematical data set that compares every crypto project in existence, and then basically letting people decide for themselves, do you want to support the more decentralized crypto projects, or do you want to help fund somebody's, private jets or private ranch or, a house in the Hamptons? That's totally up to you. But me personally, I got into this industry because I believed in the idea of taking financial power back and putting it in the hands of we the people. But instead, what has happened is we've moved the industry to a private banking system that's even worse than the Federal Reserve. And to me, that's just only getting worse. So please go to blockindex.ai. Please follow the account on X. And please sign up. And if you believe in what we're trying to build here, and you want to help the crypto industry, and you want a place where you can send people that are new and say, hey, you really should check that project's D-score. I mean, are you really sure you want to basically be getting into something that's so centralized, that defeats the point of crypto? Here, go to blockindex.ai. You can learn about decentralization. You can learn about the different types of blockchains, proof of work, proof of stake, what is a privacy coin, all that stuff. is what we're working to put in one place. So the idea is one place you can find data, you can learn. The only thing we're not going to do, we're not going to sell crypto. It's not going to be an exchange. But everything else, we have plans to add advanced analytics, advanced node counts for every blockchain. There's a lot of stuff that we have planned. We just need the funds and support to be able to do that, which is why, let me show you the vision roadmap here, right? The other thing, Emma AI. So Emma AI is spent over a year gathering the data for Emma. Tell me what the most tell me what are the top 5 most decentralized blockchains. We've spent over a year gathering data, perfecting the system, working with agent teams. There's a whole bunch of agents. There's probably over 60 or 70 different agents that have been built in the last year. Here we go. What are the top 5 most decentralized by D-Score? Bitcoin, Litecoin, DigiByte, Monero, Verge. I 100% agree with that because I've seen the data, I validated the data, and what other AI on the planet is going to give you an answer like that? Now, there's a massive data engine. I think there's over 50,000 vector data points in the brain of Emma that we've spent the last year gathering. But the idea is to turn Emma into a tutor to help you understand crypto and to learn more. So she's going to be an instructor in a lot of the courses. I'm going to be an instructor in a lot of the courses. And we're going to continue putting out content, and we're really going to expand it here on social media to be able to explain more about the data and insights that we've learned over the years. Now, as you can see here, we've got some other things, such as the bullseye analysis, the valuation page. Now, what happens on these pages is let me actually show you here. I'm going to log in with my other account. Boom. We're going to go to the valuations page. And what it actually does is there's 11 different, and this is something you got to pay for. This is an upgrade, okay? There's 11 different formulas for calculating whether a project is overvalued or undervalued based on its D-score and the data of its peers, okay? And what this identifies is overvalued projects, undervalued projects. Now, as you can see right here, like no kidding, no special funny business, it says DigiByte is literally the second most undervalued crypto out there. Now, this is all new. There's a lot of data points. There's millions of data points that have been put in this platform already. There can be some mistakes. If you find one, please let us know, and we're going to work to correct it. So this is a work in progress. Our goal is to provide up-to-date, realistic, equally applied decentralization metrics. Now, if people want to argue on a factual basis why this system is not correct, I'm more than willing to have a debate publicly. I've spent over 2 years refining this system, and I believe without a doubt, well, first of all, it's the only system I'm aware of out there, but the best system. So if you believe in this idea, please come support this platform. You can sign up for a plan. Now, the free plan with free information, access, and use a couple chats of Emma a day, it's free. If you want to sign up for an expert or a pro, you can. Or I actually want to show you here. Whoops. Let me go back here. Go to plans. We're offering a limited one-time lifetime deal promotion. So for $350, you can claim your spot as a founding member of blockindex.ai. And for the lifetime of the platform, you will have unlimited access to platforms, access to Emma, access to valuation tools, and you will have access to any other premium AI tools that are developed over the next year or two with blockindex.ai. So I'm only doing this once, but this is also needed to help us get this platform up and off the ground and to help return crypto to its decentralization roots. So if you believe in the idea of crypto being about decentralization, and you believe that this industry has been overrun with centralized fraud and corruption, then please help support this platform. And if you don't believe that, well, enjoy the AI controlled technocratic crypto hellscape that's coming for us all, because blockchain technology has the ability to free humanity, or it can be used to enslave humanity. Because when you start thinking about private programmable CDBCs, central bank digital currencies, instead of central banks, it's going to be run by private corporations. We need a system and a set of measurement tools to be able to identify when that's happening. And that's the idea with blockindex.ai. So with that, I don't want to keep rambling on. Please come and support BlockIndex, share it, sign up for it. If you have any feedback or ideas, I'd love to hear that. But we want to grow this into the #1 place that that people visit to learn about crypto, to learn about decentralization, and we want to equip them with the tools and insights to be able to go out there and make informed decisions on their own. So with that, thank you. Stay tuned. There's a lot planned. There's a lot that's going to happen, and I'm excited for the future of blockchain technology.